those who would climb the ladder must begin at the bottom. From a player's technique to their body's health, skipping the basics is the quickest way to prevent success. Cultivating a strong foundation is the key to performing at the highest level, and that doesn't just go for sports, but all aspects of life. The foundation of long-running shonen often comes down to major arcs where everything we think we know about the story is flipped. And for Haikyuu, its foundation is built during Karasuno's 2 matches versus Aoba Johsai. Aoba Johsai is the only team Karasuno plays multiple knockout matches against in the series, and they serve as major antagonists for the first 150 chapters of the manga and 2 seasons of the anime. The 2 matches between these 2 teams elevated Haikyuu from a simple volleyball anime to something far more rich. These matches have thematic ties to every game that will follow, and while their length and pacing can feel small and simple in comparison to the major matches of Nationals, without the competence of Aoba Johsai versus Karasuno, Furodate would not have been able to reach the heights of later Haikyuu. In this video, we are going to revisit both of Karasuno's matches versus Aoba Johsai and learn how it is fundamental to Haikyuu's journey to the top of the genre. Welcome to Annie Essays. Here we overanalyze anime and manga. I'm excited to announce the channel's first official monthly anime watch-along, where we'll be watching the 4th season of Haikyuu starting May 15th. I want to quickly explain what the watch-along is. Starting on the 15th, if you're participating, you will watch 2 episodes of Haikyuu Season 4 each day on your own, then join in daily discussion threads on this channel's Discord server about the episodes watched. To access the server, you'll have to pledge to the bottom tier of my Patreon, which you can get access to through the link above or in the description. Each new day of episodes to watch will have their own corresponding thread within the server to avoid future spoilers and keep the discussion on those episodes in particular. So if you join the watch along but get behind for a couple of days, the past threads of discussion will still be available to you when you're catching up. Moving forward, the next show we watch for the watch along will be voted on by my Patreons. This watch-along is the perfect way to chat with me and get my in-depth thoughts on Haikyuu and other series in real time, while also joining and helping the growth of this channel's community. We see Karasuno face off against Aoba Johsai 3 times in the series, once in a practice match and twice in knockout matches. For this video, I will be focusing mainly on the knockout matches, but the practice match does need to be touched on. This match is a landmark moment for Hinata, as it's really his first match, as his middle school team was made exclusively from players who don't play volleyball. Because of this, Hinata's nerves are off the charts, and he makes a ton of mistakes in the first set, resulting in Karasuno getting demolished. Aoba Johsai is one of the top 4 teams in the prefecture, and is a great measure for what Karasuno's strength could be. After Hinata blasts Kageyama in the back of the head, he's able to calm his nerves because he did the worst thing imaginable, hitting Kageyama and didn't die. The added layer that makes this practice match so intriguing is the relationship between Kageyama and Aoba Johsai's first years, Kendaichi and Kunimi, as they all played together in middle school. Their tenure playing together ended in disaster as Kendaichi and Kunimi refused to hit Kageyama's sets because of his selfish and overbearing play style. Before the match begins, Furodate highlights 2 perspectives on Kageyama's controlling style of play. Both Hinata and Kendaichi agree on how much of a pain Kageyama is, but they come to different conclusions about the quality of his sets. Kendaichi says they are the worst, unhittable, and Hinata says they're the best. These opposing viewpoints on Kageyama's skill will come to define his growth as a character, as he learns to accept his new teammates and be okay with the fact that he could have done better for his former team. In the second set, Hinata shows just how much he enjoys Kageyama's sets, after scoring a couple of free quicks. Karasuno wins the second set, and it's easy to see how Hinata's presence has already started to bring a different side out of Kageyama. Karasuno continues their dominance into the third set, and you start to get a sense that maybe they are as strong as a top 4 team in the prefecture already. Then the great king Oikawa is introduced. Aoba Johsai has been playing the entire game without their star setter, a setter who was Kageyama's upperclassman in middle school. Kageyama even states that he learned much of his game, serving in particular, by watching Oikawa play. Oikawa only gets to play a few rallies because of an ankle injury he picked up from too much practice. Even so, he promptly puts Karasuno on the back foot, scoring 3 points in a row. Before he can totally turn the tide, Hinata gets a game-winning spike in, and it's in a moment that will reflect how the next 2 matches will go. Hinata and Oikawa look at each other with clear vision, and Hinata smashes the ball past him. These teams will feel entirely different the next time they face off, as Oikawa barely played and Karasuno is without their libero and ace, but it establishes the true core of what this rivalry becomes: Oikawa versus Kageyama and Hinata. In the time before their official match at the Interhigh tournament, we wonder if Kageyama will continue to gel with the team, and if Hinata will start to develop a well-rounded game. At the end of this match, Furudate's paneling leaves an idea in the reader's mind. The better team moving forward will be the team that plays with the clearest vision. Now cut to the 3rd round of the Miyagi Interhigh Prefectural Tournament, where Karasuno runs into Aoba Johsai. Karasuno entered this match on the heels of a massive moment for their senior players by overcoming Date Tech. With the returning players breaking through their greatest wall, now we look to the first years to prove their worth. Hinata and Kageyama may be monsters, but at this point in the story, they still have major weaknesses. Hinata leaves a lot to be desired defensively, and Kageyama still has yet to fully embrace the team. Despite Kageyama being the clear-cut most talented player on Karasuno's roster, Sugawara is a more than competent replacement if Kageyama returns to his kingly ways. Oikawa puts Karasuno on notice, scoring the first point with a spike setter dump. Then he follows this up with a fake spike into a set on the next rally. Oikawa is in a different class of player than anything Karasuno has faced up until this point, and he plays with a freedom that shows his true mastery of the sport. Oikawa's strength only grows with the context of later arcs, where many characters express that getting good at volleyball means playing freely. If there's anything we see Oikawa do, it's play free. Kageyama takes Oikawa's declaration to start this match personally, and retaliates with a setter dump of his own. This moment announcing 2 things to the reader: Kageyama can stand next to Oikawa, but he is easily provoked. Oikawa represents everything that Kageyama is not. He can be slotted into any team and fit perfectly. His awareness of his teammates allow him to pull 100% of their potential. He may not have Kageyama's raw talent, but his ability to communicate far exceeds Kageyama's. As far as Karasuno has come as a team, if Kageyama doesn't learn to gel with that team, they will not be able to beat any powerhouse schools. Oikawa and Aoba Johsai grab a hold of this game quickly, using their greater experience to put pressure on Kageyama, forcing him into a rushed setter dump that gets blocked. Even with the growth we have seen from Karasuno in their first 2 games, they still feel like a side of individuals and not a team. Karasuno plays without an identity, and Yukai makes the only choice he can to try and save the game, switching Kageyama for Suga, hoping he can bring teamwork into Karasuno's play. Furudate is the master of turning simple concepts into complex ones. A team of 6 will always be stronger than an individual. That seems obvious enough. If Oikawa played by himself against Karasuno's team, of course he would have no chance to win. Having a talented player is not enough to win at a team sport, and Sugawara shows that right away. Suga empowers everyone around him, making Karasuno play at a higher level even without the option of the freak quick. Because he watches from the sidelines, he is also able to assess the game state through a different lens than the starters, allowing them to make adjustments on the fly. Kageyama got so wrapped up in trying to outsmart Oikawa on his own that his vision of the court narrowed. Sugawara sees the court unimpeded and allows Karasuno to compete with Aoba Johsai on even footing. Seeing the full court, all of the nuance of the game, is an idea Furodate returns to at multiple points in this match. To become truly great, you need to be able to fully read and understand all elements of the game. That total understanding can allow for players to fit into their team perfectly and raise the value of all the players on the court. Aoba Johsai takes the first set, but Suga helps Kageyama regain perspective. While he doesn't externally view it this way, he watches a player with far inferior talent to his own succeed where he couldn't. When Sugawara's limitations are shown and Kageyama returns to the court, he tries his best to adapt Sugawara's style within his own. Despite Aoba Johsai dominating the majority of the match so far, the blueprint for Karasuno's comeback is clear. If Kageyama can refocus and play in a way that supports his spikers like Suga, mixed with the freak quick, Karasuno just might be able to steal this game. Kageyama is like a different player in the second set, and it allows Karasuno to stay one step ahead of Aoba Johsai. Karasuno's constant evolution has gotten them back in this game, and now they have their monster back at setter. You get the sense that there is no stopping them. Then Oikawa steps up to serve, his serves putting fear into the Karasuno defense, and we learn about his backstory. Oikawa wins the Best Setter award for the first time in his final year of middle school. Even so, the team falls to the best player in the prefecture, Ushijima. Oikawa is a player wedged between elite talents. He has never been able to best the top player of his age group, and now has a genius setter underclassman, Kageyama, who is destined to take his place. The pressure of failing to greater talents makes Oikawa lose clarity near the end of middle school, to the point where the coaching staff gives some minutes to Kageyama, and Oikawa almost hits him when he asks for advice on how to serve. No matter how good Oikawa has gotten, how hard he trains, his talent pales in comparison to these two monsters. Iwaizumi settles Oikawa down by reminding him that 6 players are required in volleyball, that 6 players are superior to 1. That idea brings Oikawa back to reality. He may not be as talented as players like Ushijima or Kageyama, but he will never be fighting alone. The second set ends with Kageyama's evolution, as he predicts that Oikawa will set to his ace, and Kageyama and Suki get the set-winning block. The third set is Hinata's time to take over the game, leveraging his greatest advantage, giving 120% effort all the time. Karasuno finds themselves tied 15 apiece with Aoba Johsai, as Hinata dominates the game using the full length of the court. His constant pressure brings the attention of the defenders to him, and Kageyama, seeing the full court, fully utilizes him as the greatest decoy. With Hinata's work rate and Kageyama's court vision, it seems like nothing can stop them. However, Irahara and Aoba Johsai see a weakness. Hinata may have speed on his side, but he lacks vision himself, making his spikes easy to receive. Aoba Johsai nullifies the freak quick, then Oikawa puts his stamp on the game with a setter dump. Then a few serves that give Aoba Johsai a 19-17 lead. Coach Yukai won't be outdone. To try and save the game, he sends out his first-year pinch server, Yamaguchi. Overwhelm is the only descriptor for the way Yamaguchi feels when he is called upon in the most critical moment of the match. Yamaguchi has trained for this moment, but he has yet to actually experience this kind of intensity, and it ends up in a serve that fails to make it over the net. Yamaguchi let his team down in the biggest moment. Yamaguchi's experience depicts what so many young athletes go through. Most of us don't get playing time when we first enter school. It can be easy to feel like you lack talent compared to older kids or those who are your age and already playing regularly. Yamaguchi captures that feeling when you see someone do something great and you wish nothing more than to get the chance to do that yourself. In those moments, all you need to do is find a tool that you can fight with. Once you do that, just like for Yamaguchi, you have to have the experience to turn that tool into a weapon, and experience will never come if you don't take the nerves of your first match head on. Failure is the theme of this match. Because Karasuno are the protagonists, we think there's no way they could lose this game before reaching the quarterfinals of the tournament. Sure, our freshmen may lack experience, but in the match we see how tournament games force evolutions, so we think there's a chance. The reality of sports is that you can't cut corners. The match doesn't end with Yamaguchi missing a serve. That is just 1 point given away, and Karasuno gets back in the game quickly, fighting until the final ball hits the ground, and they push further, taking the game back and making it match point for them 25-24. Oikawa has an overwhelming feeling that despite their difference in age, Kageyama has closed the gap in their talent. As this game goes on, his underclassman only grows in strength. Kageyama is no longer the tyrant king he used to be, but his transformation didn't come soon enough. Eventually, the match finds itself in the 30s. Oikawa steals the advantage through Kunami. Oikawa has pulled out Kunami's strength in a way that Kageyama never could have done by embracing his willingness to not work hard and utilizing his extra energy late in a match. With Aoba Johsai at match point, Hinata and Kageyama go to the one tool they have that none can match: their speed. In the end, Oikawa's view of the court trumps the limited view of Karasuno's young players, and the Freak Quick gets beaten by a triple block. This is where Haikyuu's story takes the leap from good to great, or at least when the audience realizes just what kind of story we're in for. Karasuno's plot armor dissolves with this block, and it pulls into focus the need for each player on the team to continue their growth if they even want to consider making it to nationals. The loss to Oikawa forces the entire narrative to reset. No sports story could ever be complete without focusing on losing. In this match, Furodate shows that clear vision is one of the most essential parts to finding success. Oikawa played with vision unimpeded. Kageyama and Hinata's viewpoints were narrow, tightening into a longing for speed. If Karasuno is going to overcome Aoba Johsai, then Hinata will have to fight with his eyes open. That starts with taking care of your body, the eat and grow stronger scene being a notable one for Haikyuu, as no matter the results, you must always take care of your body if you want to make it up the next step of the ladder. Karasuno showed promise in this match as they evolved throughout each set rapidly, but they did lack a team identity. If they're truly going to get the best out of their 6 players on the court, they will need to start working in unison. Karasuno finds their identity at the Tokyo training camp, where they go all in on a totally offensive style of volleyball. After months of practice, Karasuno have become one of the top 4 teams in the prefecture, making it all the way to the semifinals of the spring tournament, where they find themselves against Aoba Johsai once again. Where the first match began with Oikawa's freedom, the second starts with the freedom of Karasuno as a team. First with Nishinoya's set, followed by a Kageyama one-hander. Once Hinata smashes the Freak Quick with his eyes open, there is no denying that Karasuno is a team transformed. And now, Aoba Johsai will have to match pace. The start of the second match shows just how far Karasuno has come. Their offense moves like liquid, players seamlessly working together to score points from any situation. Karasuno sets the pace, but that doesn't mean they have leapfrogged Aoba Johsai just yet. Oikawa keeps his team in the game and puts fear into Karasuno with his serves, even on misses. I think the anime really stands out in this series of episodes. The manga will always be my preferred way of experiencing the story, but there's no denying that Production IG has done a fantastic job throughout most of Haikyuu's run, especially in this match. Karasuno takes the first set, but the excitement is muddled because of how they earned their last 2 points. Oikawa misses a serve by mere inches, and Aoba Johsai substitutes a player we've never seen before, Mad Dog. Mad Dog is one of my favorite characters in the series for how instantaneously he shifts the mood of the match upon his introduction. Mad Dog adds a level of force that Aoba Johsai doesn't have. They're a team who has been beaten repeatedly by the overwhelming nature of Uchijima. Now they have a player who cares not for the team, but only about scoring for himself. Oikawa may be able to fit into any side, but since he is by far the best player on his team, the team has shaped themselves around him, forcing an ideology of traditional teamwork. Oikawa does things by the numbers, pulling out the potential of other players, but there isn't really anyone to do that for him. Mad Dog changes that. His first play in the game, he steals a set from Kendaichi and smashes the ball out, resulting in a first set win for Karasuno. However, it's hard to celebrate as you feel like Mad Dog could shift the nature of this game. Coach Yukai evaluates him as a double-edged sword, a player who is able to score a lot of points with his individual strength, but lack of teamwork results in numerous mistakes. Here is another example of how Furodate starts to complicate seemingly simple ideas. In the first match, we see 6 players over 1. In this match, 1 player has a ripple effect that could change the entire game. When the pressure is at its highest, Aoba Johsai trusts Oikawa's ability to adapt to this new ripple in the team. The first match between these two teams showed how 6 will always be greater than 1, but one great player does have the ability to elevate the other 5. Oikawa has been lifting up Aoba Johsai for years. Mad Dog offers them something they don't have already, a player with true strength. If one player outshines the rest, then he forces his teammates to catch up or quit. That is how a team of 6 reaches new heights, by individuals breaking down barriers and challenging their teammates. That is how evolution has worked for Karasuno. For Aoba Johsai, they did the opposite, creating a team that fits together by the numbers, then adding a wildcard talent to force the rest to catch up. Oikawa's willingness to utilize Mad Dog suggests he understands that, and by the end of the match, Mad Dog has already taken his own step to understanding the importance of the team. Utilizing Mad Dog, Oikawa and Aoba Johsai are able to take a sizable lead in the second set, and it becomes clear how evenly matched these two sides are. Aoba Johsai really settles in and is about to take set 2, when Yamaguchi gets his chance at redemption. A strong serve that misses is more valuable than a weak serve that is easy to return. Just putting the ball in play sets your team up for failure. A serve you truly go for will always be better for the team in the long run. Yamaguchi is no longer the timid pinch server we saw in that first match. He is a killer who is out for blood. All it takes is an acknowledgement of what went wrong in the past, and a willingness to give it your all, and now we see Yamaguchi score 5 straight points for Karasuno, getting them back in the set. Failure is a step in growth. With practice and experience, even the most normal of players can stand alongside the monsters. Yamaguchi gives Karasuno the lead until Owaizumi smashes the ball to tie the game at 24 apiece. Oikawa takes the second set from Karasuno by using Mad Dog's presence to his advantage. Oikawa is playing at the highest level. Even so, Kageyama, a player 2 years younger than him, has matched him step for step. It makes you wonder, if a player like Oikawa has trouble getting noticed, what does that mean for Hinata? Oikawa and Hinata are more similar than you might think. Both have as strong instincts as anyone, both work just as hard as anyone, yet they still find themselves among players whose talent outshines theirs. The third set sees 2 teams who equal each other in strength. No tricks left to play. Just like Kageyama in the first game, Mad Dog narrows his vision as Tanaka gets the better of him. He regains his focus like Kageyama did by seeing the power of a team that works together. Oikawa doesn't abandon his new tool and instead empowers Mad Dog, making Aoba Johsai function at a higher level. Near the end of this final set, Owaizumi gets a much needed moment in the light. Aoba Johsai desperately tries to cut off Yamaguchi when he's selected to pinch serve once again, and Iwaizumi makes a huge dig on an Asahi spike, and we learn just how much his outlook on playing has changed. Iwaizumi used to only chase offense, but now he finds that no feeling rivals digging the perfect spike. Following this, Oikawa gives Aoba Johsai a 24-22 lead on a perfect serve. It is Karasuno's greatest defender, Daiichi, who won't let this team fall, helping them survive the next serve. And then, with Karasuno down 23-24, they bring on another pinch server, Sugawara, to replace Suki. Karasuno was able to tie the game off of Suga's first serve with a block. Then on the next rally, Aoba Johsai runs through everyone Kageyama could set to, but forgets that this game revolves around him. Kageyama dropped a key setter dump just like Oikawa did in that first match to take the lead 25-24. Before the start of the next rally, Furodate drops in another Oikawa backstory moment. This time, Oikawa seemingly speaks to a coach who we don't know. The coach wonders how Oikawa could say he lacks the natural talent of others before he has fully realized the true extent of his own abilities. Can you really complain you don't have enough talent when you haven't actually trained to 100% of your abilities? Every new day we find ourselves in is a new chance to see just how far our talent can take us. That is the advice Oikawa got before this match. And then the rally is underway, the game on the line, and Aoba Johsai are about to lose, the ball flying out of the court after an Asahi spike, only for Oikawa to point at Iwaizumi and send a perfect set. Talent must be allowed to bloom, and instinct is something you hone. In this moment, Oikawa took himself to a new level, a perfect set in the most difficult of situations, an individual talent that rose above the rest. But volleyball is not a sport played by one, but six. Daiichi receives a Iwaizumi's spike, and after scrambling on both sides of the court, Kageyama relies on his strongest weapon, letting Hinata face Aoba Johsai's wall. Last time, their speed killed. But this time, Hinata's vision is clear as he tools the blocks and the ball narrowly goes past Oikawa. Karasuno pushed forward, and in the end, Hinata wins the ultimate rally, tooling the block with open eyes. Hinata is able to fight on his own. In that rally, we watch Hinata, a player with instinct, find talent in an area that we did not think possible as he wins the fight in the air. These two matches define growth in Haikyuu, from Yamaguchi's transformation into a pinch server to be relied upon, to Kageyama no longer being a tyrant on the court. At its core, Haikyuu has been a story about enjoying the process of volleyball, reveling in the nuances of the game. All of us can find ways to evolve our abilities. Maybe it's in the way Sugawara can play alongside Kageyama, or how Mad Dog plays for his teammates in the end and not just himself. Haikyuu is about not getting discouraged at your perceived abilities, but discovering the depths of your talent. Aoba Johsai's matches versus Karasuno capture that essence of the story in the purest way possible. In one way or another, all matches in Haikyuu speak to each other and reflect the series at large. That is because Furodate does such an amazing job at holding character threads and ideas from match to match. I want to talk about direct references from the Aoba Johsai match to later matches in Haikyuu's story, as well as all foundation is improved by the thing it holds up. The most obvious reflection is the match between Karasuno and Inarizaki. Atsumu has so many similarities to Oikawa. Both are setters perceived to be better than Kageyama at the start of the match. Each has a serve that puts fear into Karasuno's best defenders, and both understand the free quick in their own way. Oikawa in his ability to read Kageyama, and Atsumu in his ability to perform a version of the free quick with his twin Osamu. However, Atsumu's playstyle is the antithesis to Oikawa. When he calls Kageyama a goody two-shoes at the training camp, he's also speaking about the way Oikawa plays. Atsumu lifts everyone to his level and thinks if you don't have the skill to hit his sets, then you have no worth on the court. Oikawa would just adjust his gameplay to fit the spiker regardless of how weak or strong they are, trying to get the best version out of them that he can. In the Aoba Johsai match, Kageyama becomes a form of Oikawa, but that is a style that doesn't totally fit him, and after meeting Atsumu, he becomes a player somewhere in the middle of Oikawa and Atsumu, an idea planted against Aoba Johsai that bears fruit against Inarizaki. Awaizumi's play in the second match also feeds into Hinata's development during the Ball Boy arc. During that arc, Hinata goes through similar growth, where he starts viewing the court not just from his own position, but everywhere, almost like a setter would do. He finds joy in learning how to receive, which pays off in the moment where he receives Eren's spike. That feeds into the final rally against Inarizaki, where we get our third sequence of the Freak Quick. The first time Oikawa reads Hinata and Kageyama, resulting in Karasuno losing the game. The second time, Oikawa is able to read the play, but Hinata's evolution allows him to see the block and still score the point. The third time around, Hinata and Kageyama block the Twins Quick, reading the play just like Oikawa did to them, showing that speed can be a curse, and that you must always have a full view of the court. Oikawa and Hinata's relationship will grow further in Brazil. Yamaguchi's role as a pinch server has key moments in many national matches, and of course the immediate pressure of Ushijima looming over Oikawa and Karasuno will show just how difficult it can be to overcome overwhelming talent. The biggest connection of all may be that Furodate is not afraid to have Karasuno fail. Karasuno vs. Aoba Johsai is where Haikyuu went from a fun sports anime to a generational piece of media. The biggest moments of this match reflect into every aspect of what is to come. Oikawa towered as the series villain for the first 2 seasons, and after that his shadow still covers every inch of the court. The Great King and his team left a lasting impact and showed a reality of sports that no story should ever try to escape. No matter how good your team is, there will always be a better one, but that shouldn't discourage you from playing or picking yourself back up after you lose a game. No matter how much better the people around you seem, you will never know the full extent of your own talent if you're unwilling to put in 100% effort. Aoba Johsai was Karasuno's greatest hurdle, and by overcoming them, they reached new heights for their internal and team strength. In the end, if you keep climbing the ladder, no matter what kind of losses you have, you will find yourself at the top. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I feel like I never run out of words when it comes to talking about Aoba Johsai and Oikawa, and because of that, I still feel like there are many elements of these matches that I didn't even touch upon. I also hope you'll join me for the first anime watch-along on my Discord. I wanted to find a way to create stronger ties to the community, and this seems like a really great way to do it. Having daily discussions on Haikyuu episodes and later other anime series sounds like a lot of fun, and I hope you'll join me. Link to join below. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.